today's the first test day for Trans Am and International GT. So we're running both of those series this weekend. It's great because you get so much track time on one of the best circuits in the United States. I mean, it's COTA, it's the Formula One track. You know, and those guys, if you've been watching, you know, Formula One, they don't go to easy joints. This is a really tough track. Very, very technical, so technical. If you take a first corner wrong leading through the S's, if you don't hit that first corner perfect, it screws you up for the whole rest of the series behind it. So it's just so critical to keep focused, hitting your marks and finding those marks. I was here in 2016 with the Optima series, you know, and that's a street tire series, you know, a street tire on the car. So you only really get a couple laps that are worthwhile. Here, you know, we're running 30 minutes straight. You know, we're getting, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 laps per session. So yeah, after you told me about the orange turtles, it's like, oh yeah, those are the apexes. Yeah. You know, this is our last race of the season. This is it. So I'd really like to go out a winner. I really want to win a Trans Am race. I want to be able to tell my grandkids I at least won one. This is the one to do it. It's been a very long progression. You know, in February we went to Roebling Road in Savannah, Georgia, and went to the SVRA school. And it's more about, you know, I learned a lot, but they're also watching you to see if you're capable enough to go drive with the people that race in that series. And then progressing from driver's school in February to now here we are in October, and hopefully we're going to walk away with a win here. Those S's are just a bitch. They are just a bitch.
Yeah, we'll work on it a little. You're a little on the early side of the first one, and so you're kind of off.
Playing catch up. Yeah. There's not a real rhythm to these S's. It's go in fast, go slower, downshift, stab the gas, go slower, downshift. It's really difficult to get a good rhythm and speed through there. But it's something, that's where a lot of time is, right there. A big chunk of time is right there. You know, the track is changing, and it's changed quite a bit from the last time I was here. There's a lot of bumps that have taken place. And you know, when you drive into the facility on the access roads and everything, the car just your rental car just goes up and down. It's very, very rough. And it's, you know, it also transfers to the track. And you can see where they've ground the track down to try and smooth things out. But it's still a handful, and the car really jumps around quite a bit. Having to deal with that, placing the car at the right place. If you go through it too fast, it'll unsettle the car, and if you get airborne and air underneath the car, you're going to lose control. So you really have to, you know, have a ginger touch around some of these corners and know where the bad spots are and deal with it.
I think I'm using the brakes now.
Yeah, we came in off the track, and you know, the left front brake pad was smoking pretty hot, and so, you know, you knew I was giving it my all, and every session I've been giving it my all, and you know, we're pushing it to the limit. You have to push. This is pro racing. You can't goof around and kind of go at it half-ass. You've got to try and give it 100% from the beginning of the first practice session to, you know, the final race. Yeah, 219's good. Got 3 seconds to go.
The big thing here is getting, you know, just like in the S is right up on the rumble to the edge of the orange.
Oh, okay.
That way you straighten up. And it's pretty good, you know, an uphill here for the initial drive out, so you can get to power pretty well usually.
You know, the thing about Mike Skeen is he's extremely detail oriented, especially when it comes to track and cues around the track on where you should place your car, where you should turn in, where you should brake, where you should accelerate. And usually when you go out and learn a track, you kind of get it pretty down, pretty good, and you're good to go. You know, you think that's as fast as you can go.
I think you still need to be turning in earlier, because when you come out over here, you're still really far right.
It just won't turn.
But I think it's because you're starting later. Like if you start back here more, it'll get there.
Like this early?
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
It's that kind of detail that you have to pay attention to, and that's the difference between a pro and an amateur, really. You know, an amateur just will go out there and say that's good enough. Mike's got to have it perfect. I spun the car in the first official practice for Trans Am this weekend. We had a brand new set of rubber on the car, and you know, once they come up to temperature, they're right at their sweet spot. And I just wanted to kick myself because I went through the S's too fast, lost it, and spun out. You know, I thought, oh shoot, you know, I might have ruined these tires, and I've thrown this whole opportunity away. But, you know, I was able to get it going again and get back on the track and go. The car felt so good. You know, when this car has grip, it gives you a lot of confidence. You really can drive this thing hard. And I just felt really good behind the wheel, and, you know, start chipping away at times. And we were able to get down to a really quick, decent time. And that's kind of where we need to be to win this race this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah, the bummer is I threw away the best lap when I spun.
Yeah.
I went in there super hot. It's like, uh-oh. Yeah, and the coaching, spot on.
That was 15.
Well, we did a setup change. We went to a different spring, you know, see if we couldn't make it even better. I think we just went the wrong direction. It's too stiff, and the track's too bumpy.
But you hit the bumps, the car gets all freaking sideways. It's like, you know, it's just a matter of time before I can't save it.
And the car was literally so stiff that it was getting kind of airborne, you know. It was getting wheel spin and overspeeding the engine and over-revving the engine as the car lifted up off the ground. So if it was billiard smooth here, I think that would have been the right decision. But unfortunately, the track's so rough that we've got to go back to our original setup. You know, we were, geez, nearly 3 seconds slower. So, you know, obviously that's not the key.
It was a good plan. It wasn't a great plan. I was just trying to get a decent one in, try to get a front row.
But after that, it was like, I'm not gonna wear my tires out, screw it.
Qualifying third yesterday was kind of a disappointment because I felt the lap that I ran out there was pretty close to the best lap I ran all weekend. Everything was pieced together and I hit my marks. What I felt was pretty close to perfect. There's never a perfect lap, but you know, it was a pretty darn good one. And we still ended up third. So, but, you know, in looking at the times and looking at my competition, you know, I still haven't given up any hope at all. I mean, I'm pretty confident we can win this race from third place. We're third, and we're right behind the pole sitter. It is a Viper. It's got quite a bit more power than what we have. It's important to just kind of latch on to her and hopefully, you know, be in second place by turn one and just kind of hang on as best I can. You know, they're heavier than us. Who knows what can happen? Maybe their tire degradation is going to be more. That's kind of what we're counting on, and we've got to stay in touch, so that when that starts happening to them, we can run them down and get by them.
Green, 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 green. Green, green, green. We've got to start for SGT and GT. Clear all the way, clear all the way. Go, go, go.
I was in third place after the start. I wanted to have a nice, clean start. And then I was just going to watch those guys, you know, Cindy Lux in the Viper and Aaron Pierce in the Corvette, and they were battling. Cindy got the lead, and you know, Aaron was right on their tail, and all I wanted to do is kind of sit back in the catbird seat about, you know, 5 or 6 car lengths behind them, and watch and just see how the race developed. Just trying to be as smooth as possible, conserve my tires, not get too crazy up on the curbs, but I still had to run pretty hard to stay with those guys. You know, they out-qualified me, so they were fast. I was more than content to sit there and watch in third place to see how things developed, and now all of a sudden I'm right on their bumper.
That's all right, sit back and relax.
First things first, it's a sprint race, so you just run as hard as you can. You know, in the beginning, just run as hard as you can and see how it plays out. And everybody's doing it. After a while, you know, we all start with a full load of fuel. I mean, I start with 200 pounds of fuel in the car, so it takes a good third of the race to burn, you know, half of that fuel load off. And so once you get 100 pounds out of the car, now it starts to handle better and go faster and that type of thing. So then you can really start pouring it on in the middle of the race.
It's slowing both of them down.
Aaron went too deep into turn 19, locked up, and I was able to get by him, and now it's Cindy and I.
Clear, clear.
we were battling, and her tires started to go away, and I was able to make a pass entering turn 19, and she hung in there for a long time. You know, it wasn't a gimme. The car really started to come to me, and I could really put the hammer down and see if I could build up a gap ahead of her to where she wouldn't be able to catch me. I just kept the pressure on and kept trying to build a lead and keep that lead till the end. The last, I don't know, 6-7 laps of the race, my car was not great. You know, I couldn't stop as well, couldn't corner as well. The tires had, you know, tire degradation had really gone away. But by that time, I was far enough ahead of Cindy, and she was, you know, trying to get home second by then, and so I was able to milk it all the way home.
Yeah, brother, good job. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. That was badass. Good drive. Good drive. Right here. Right here, baby.
I've been here before. In fact, I told my wife, you know, this is the first time since 1986 that I've won a professional race. That's a long time ago. But you know, it all comes back to you. That muscle memory still comes back to you. And you know, I can't say I really threw away a win late in the late stages of a race. And I wasn't about to do it here, that's for sure.
Yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo! Ah! I really wanted to win this race. This was a good opportunity. The fall line guys weren't here. They're at the SCCA runoffs. But you know, it doesn't matter who shows up. The competition's still stout. You know, I had my hands full. I didn't qualify first. You know, with those other guys, I was on the front row before. So it's the last race for us. We're going to take a break and get ready for 2020. And it's a good way to put a cherry on top.
It's just awesome to win here. This is going to be the last race for us this year, so it was good to go out on top. You know, I'd like to thank Pirelli, and they make a great tire. Sunoco for making power, and especially, you know, Trans Am. The series is so awesome. It's so professionally run, and the people that you race with are just true pros. It's a serious gentleman racer, as Mark Bowden would say. It's awesome, and racer woman.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends, you know, that I raced with in the 80s. Tommy Kendall's one of them. You know, I think he holds the record for Trans Am wins. So now, hey, Tommy, look out. I'm coming for you. I've got one win to your, I don't know, 89 or something like that. So, you know, maybe in another 30 years, I'll be able to catch him.
Woo! It's a good burn.